everybody, and welcome back to Multiplex Movie Melee. I'm going to get the name right. I'm definitely never going to get it wrong. I'm so totally used to it. But we've got a great match for you today. We have got Robert Castner versus Jay Burnz. Both of them having probably not the season they wanted to last season, but hoping to bounce back after that with this match. One of them being given the chance to raise their records, and one of them we're just kicking them further into the ground because we feel like it. On the desk with me, we've got Mr. Andrew Barr. Barr, how you doing? How you feeling about today's match?
I'm doing good. Yeah, because if there's one thing that one Cameron Holtzman and I do, it's kicking people into the dirt. But no, this is going to be a really interesting match. I know that Jay and Robert like each other; they're good friends. But one of them's going to come out at the end with a victory and bring their record up to 500. So I can't wait to see what happens.
Absolutely. Well, I think we will get going with our pre-match interviews, starting with Jay Burnz and his manager, Scott Harvey. Jay, I believe, I might be wrong. I think the last time we saw you was the tournament last year.
Maybe. The last match I remember playing was against Kelly. So
I don't remember when that happened.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Before
I haven't seen you in a hot minute. How you doing? How you feeling about today's match?
Well, you know what? As a Y Street poet once told me, I can ride my bike with no handlebars. I am here to have a little bit of fun. I'm doing great. I'm glad to be back. I have been trying to up my trivia knowledge, and I just hope that today's match will prove that all the work that I have been putting in is actually for something other than all of the random ADHD space that's in my brain that needs to be taken up.
Great reference. Flowbots really deserve more love. That whole album has some bangers on it, I just have to say. But yeah, no, I'm excited for Jay to play. I think these are two players who it's safe to say have had their fair share of bad luck in this division. And somebody's got to have the better luck today. So hopefully it's going to be Jay.
Absolutely. Well, we will send Scott backstage and we will bring in Jay's opponent, Robert, and his manager, Mr. Jake Meltzer. Robert, I think, was the last time we saw you also in the singles tournament last year.
No, thankfully, that beatdown that I endured was not the last time. I played one Albert Wordhammer, and I got a win to get me to this point, which saved my season. And as we discussed at that time, made sure that I was not an ultimate loser for my daughter's birth when she got here.
Congratulations on the birth of your child.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it's been as well a hot minute since we've seen you. Have you been doing any prep in the off season or in the past few weeks for this? How are you feeling about today's match? Does having a child make you better or worse at movie trivia, sir?
So when you have a child, you have to manipulate ways in which to watch things that would otherwise be inappropriate for them. So for instance, for one of my strengths, I had to make sure that I would watch it at work and when she is asleep, which sometimes is not very viable because she will wake up like every half an hour to an hour. So you watch movies at like 10-minute clips. Is that good for trivia? Probably not, but at least they get in, and that's important.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we will find out today. So we will say goodbye to Jake, and we will get into round number one of today's match. Round number one is going to work like this. You will get 8 different questions in 8 different categories in the realm of general movies. You will have about 15 or so seconds to write your answer down on your whiteboard. If you get it right, you will get a point. If you get it wrong, you will not get a point. If you manage to get all 8 questions correct at the end of the round, you will be issued a bonus question worth an additional 1 point. Reminder to both competitors that you have 3 repeats and a challenge to use throughout the match, as well as to keep both hands on screen at all times. Any questions before we get going?
Are you telling me a shrimp fried this rice?
I said no such thing, but what I will say is that your first question comes in the category of crime movies. Name 2 of the 3 actresses who play the women who are attempting to pay off their husband's debts in Widows.
So I prefer the version of this movie made and produced by Home Improvement, Windows.
I don't like you. I don't like the joke. I don't like any of this Tim Allen noise. 5.
That's what my parents told me.
3, 2, 1. Pens down, Jay. And we will go to Robert.
Is that before or after Tim Allen exposes himself? Viola Davis and Michelle Rodriguez.
And Jay.
I don't have that. I have Octavia Spencer and Julia Roberts.
Viola Davis and Michelle Rodriguez are correct. The third is Elizabeth Debicki.
That's who that is.
All
She
right.
white, she Julia Roberts.
Your next question is going to come in War. How does Sergeant Hartman die in Full Metal Jacket?
I think
Go ahead.
in a controversial take that no other person has ever had about this movie before, I think the first half of this movie is great and the second half is fine.
Pshaw.
5, 4, 3,
Nothing
2,
pretentious about that.
1. Hands down. We'll go to Jay
Grenade.
and Robert.
Shot.
Shot is correct.
I changed it from shot at the last second.
As we get to your third question, which comes in the category of romantic comedies. In 13 Going on 30, adult Jenna works for a magazine that centers on what industry? This is a fun movie. Like, I can't call it
I've never
objectively
seen
great, but it's fun.
That's what I've constantly heard. I will take your word for it.
I only know.
You know,
I
two
probably
things
will
about
wait
it.
another 5 more years.
4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. We'll go to Robert
Said the music industry.
and Jay.
Teen fashion.
I don't think we can accept it, unfortunately. It's just general fashion, I believe specifically more adult fashion. Unfortunately, I do not believe we can give you the point unless you would like to challenge. All right, we will move on to your next question then. In the category of Westerns, Dean Martin, Ricky Nelson, and Walter Brennan all have supporting roles in what classic Western? This was supposed to be your question.
Sure
Supposed
was.
to be your Well, you know, I'll let you take I'm going to claim that I'll let you take the next one, and then I'm going to read it anyway. You work with moral support and to look pretty. 5, 4, 3,
But I'm not good at that.
1. Pens down. We'll go to Jay
The Wild Bunch.
and Robert.
I also said the Wild Bunch.
Both incorrect. Looking for Rio Bravo. Rio Bravo.
I should
Bar.
challenge that last question.
Now you can read.
Your next question is going to come in Oscars. The films The Hospital, The Sting, and Coming Home all won what Oscar? I literally just found one of these movies at my local library. It's not streaming anywhere, so I picked it up.
Well, then it's definitely not the middle one of the list. If that's not
Support
streaming
your local
anywhere.
library.
Problem. 5, 4, 3,
Well, neither Judgment at Nuremberg, and that's a problem.
1. Pens down. We'll go to Robert
Original score.
and Jay.
Supporting actor.
Both incorrect. Looking for best original screenplay.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'll read the next question. I don't know. I've ruined everything. Your next question comes in the category of recent releases. What instrument does Colm play in The Banshees of Inisherin?
Colm.
I would say I could try to pronounce his name the way the characters in the movie do, but I feel like I would offend half the Kingsmen who are all Irish in some way.
Colm. There you go.
Bar took the bullet. 5,
They're
4,
Irish in the
Oh, I
same way
happily
that white
take the
people.
bullet for you.
2, 1. Pens down. We'll go to Jay
They're all Irish in the way that Americans drink Guinness. I said violin.
and Robert.
Said piano.
Violin is correct. So Jay getting himself on the board. We get to your next question, read by Bar, because questions are read.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Your next category is going to come in horror. Fuck. What is the profession Question of John Goodman's character in Arachnophobia. American Treasure, John Goodman.
He is a good man. His name
Very
says he's
His
also
name
a
does not
John.
lie.
Although I guess calling someone a John could be like a bad thing in police. We're at 5,
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. We'll go to Robert
I said a scientist.
and Jay.
He's pest control.
Pest control or exterminator is correct.
Okay.
So tying it up 2-2 as we get to your final question. In the category of directors,
Fuck you.
who directed The Long Goodbye, Nashville, and Popeye?
Nashville, famous for their hot chicken. It's actually legitimately good.
I assumed you were making a joke about one of these being named Popeye, like the place that serves chicken.
Yeah.
Yo, the synergy.
4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. We go to Jay
It's not right. I said Peter Weir.
and Robert.
Robert Altman.
Robert Altman.
Robert Altman is correct. So at the end of round number 1, I have Robert at 3, Jay at 2. Is that what you have, Bar?
See.
All right. With that, then we will get into round number 2, which is our wheel round. I'm going to bring up the lovely wheel from wheeltheside.com. Wheel has 8 different categories on it, as well as spinners and opponent's choice. Our competitor in the lead, in this case, Robert, will get to choose whether he would like to spin first or defer. Whichever player spins, if they like what they get on their first spin, they can keep it, or they can choose to spin again unless they land on opponent's choice. But whatever they land on their second spin, they'll be forced to keep. Whatever category they end up with, they will get 5 questions worth 2 points apiece, or they can go to multiple choice for 1. But watch out, because stealing is available. So if you get a question wrong, your opponent can gain some points. The categories on today's wheel are Fandom horror icons, sci-fi fantasy, 2010s, Oscars, Simon Pegg comedies, 2000s, 1990s, and 1980s, as well as spinners and opponent's choice. This is a wheel full of decades. We'll bring in Robert's manager, Jake. Would you like to spin first or defer?
If you were alive in the last 40 years, maybe you've seen some of these movies.
Yes, all right. I will actually speak now and tell you to go second.
Sorry you didn't get to speak the last time. I apologize.
Listen, you're way more interesting than me right now, so that's perfectly fine.
I disagree, but I'll follow your advice, sir. I will.
All right, going second. So we will put Jake backstage. We will bring in Scott, and this will be Jay's first spin at the wheel.
For what it's worth, I don't think you would have won the challenge, so don't beat yourself up.
Land
Jay.
on spinner's
All right.
choice. Do you need a reminder of the categories, or do you know what you're taking?
I have like 2 in mind, honestly. It's either going to be Simon Pegg comedies or it's going to be sci-fi.
Right. Well, I mean, don't you? I think we should play it safe and go Simon Pegg because it's a much smaller pool of films, don't you think?
You would think. Yeah, let's go with it.
All right. Yeah.
Let's go with it. We'll go Simon Pegg.
I know
comedies.
you know that. Yeah. Simon Pegg comedy.
Right. We will take Scott away. We will take away the wheel. And I will read these questions because there's definitely not an affinity for any of the movies that could be in this category from me. Definitely nothing. So your first question, Jay. In Run, Fat Boy, Run, what does Dennis tell Maya he will do if he doesn't complete the marathon?
Ooh.
Five, 4.
Sign the divorce papers.
That is incorrect, Robert, for a 2-point steal.
Go on a
5,
diet.
4. That is also incorrect. We're looking for move out of his apartment.
Damn it.
Move out of his apartment.
Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong character.
Your second question. In The World's End, in what bar does the group have their first fight with the blanks?
Mm.
5, 4, 3.
Multiple choice, please.
All right, your multiple choice options are A, the famous cock, B, the cross hands, C, the beehive, or D, the trusty servant.
B, final answer.
That is correct for 1 point.
Okay.
Who plays Ruth Buggs in Paul?
Kristen Wiig.
That's correct for 2 points and the lead. Your next question. What is the name of the serial killer Agent Himes is investigating in Big Nothing?
Ooh. This is a really good question because I've only seen this movie once. Multiple choice, please.
All right, your options are A, the Boxcar Strangler, B, the Highway Stalker, C, the Beaverton Beater, or D, the Oregon Undertaker.
Just out of curiosity, do I get a free repeat of those options?
You do.
Just because I want to hear you in your dulcet tones one more time, please.
Once again, are A, the Boxcar Strangler, B, the Highway Stalker, C, the Beaverton Beater, or D, the Oregon Undertaker.
He said beaver. I'm going to go with A, final answer.
That is incorrect, Robert, for the 1 point steal. Is it A, the Boxcar Strangler, B, the Highway Stalker, C, the Beaverton Beater, or D, the Oregon Undertaker?
I'll say D as in dog.
D, the Oregon Undertaker, is correct.
Those are the two that I was stuck between.
We are licensing all of the other names to the WWE. As we get to your final question, Jay. What brand of car does Sean's stepfather Philip drive in Shaun of the Dead?
But I've never driven a Jag. What is a Jaguar? It's a Jaguar. Final
That's
answer.
correct for 2 points. So at the end of Jay's turn, I have Jay at 7, Robert at 4. Is that what you have, Bar?
Good steal, by the way, Castner. Good steal, buddy.
I just figured if there were two Oregon-based things,
that's yo.
So we'll bring back the wheel. We bring back Jake for Robert's first spin at the wheel.
Can we give public credit to who came up with Beaverton Beater, please?
Oh shit. Okay.
I would have to look. But anyways, you land on Fandom Horror Icons, Robert. Would you like to keep that or spin again?
Well,
you haven't gotten to play Fandom yet this year, so I feel like you should take this.
Well, let's see. The only thing I've been watching over the last 2 weeks are these things. So sure.
Yeah, I would take this.
Let's take this, please.
All right. We'll say goodbye to Jake. We'll say goodbye to the wheel. And Bar, you are both a big Fandom guy and a big horror movies guy. I'm sure of it. So you can ask these questions.
Yes, and hopefully I will not have to say either cock or beaver in these. All right. So your first question in Fandom Horror Icons. Crichton does what to Steven in exchange for information about Jason in Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday?
Man, what a movie. This movie. So much movie. He breaks his fingers.
That is correct for 2 points. All right, your second question. What sport does Quentin compete in 2010's A Nightmare on Elm Street?
Swimming.
That is correct for another 2 points. How does Dr. Sartain die in 2018's Halloween?
He gets his fucking head smashed.
Holtzman, I believe we can take that.
We can accept that the head crushed is all we needed.
Yeah. All right. Your next question. What actor made their film debut as a camp counselor, Darren Robinson, in Friday the 13th, Part 4, Jason Lives?
That is part
6. Part 6.
6.
Tony Goldwyn.
And that is correct for 2 more points. Roman numerals, my biggest weakness.
It's okay.
All right. And your final question. What item does Maggie find on John Doe, which reveals he is from Springwood in Freddy's Dead?
I'm gonna multiple this one.
Your multiple choice options are A, a receipt, B, a bus ticket, C, a newspaper clipping, or D, a map.
Should have just done it. Newspaper clipping.
And that is correct for one more point.
So at the end of that, I have Robert at 13, Jay at 7. Is that what you have, Bar?
That is correct.
All right, then we are going to get into round number 3, which, as always, is our Pick Your Poison round. The way this round is going to work is our competitors will get to choose from our categories which one they want for a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4-point question. The categories that they can choose from today are sports, sci-fi fantasy, war, Reese Witherspoon, classics, actors and actresses, biopics, and comedy. So we will let our competitors pick what they want for their 1, 2, 3, and 4-point questions. We will be right back. All right, we are back. Our competitors have had the chance to choose what they want for their 1, 2, 3, and 4-point questions. Robert has chosen his 1 in actors and actresses, his 2 in sci-fi fantasy, his 3 in comedy, and his 4 in sports. Whereas Jay has chosen his 1 in classics, his 2 in actors and actresses, his 3 in sci-fi fantasy, and his 4 in comedy. We will start with Jay as he is behind. We will ask questions until either all 8 questions have been asked or one player has been mathematically eliminated. Both players still have all 3 repeats and their challenge ready. So, Bar, we will have you read Jay his questions, starting with his 1-pointer in classics.
All right, Jay, your 1-pointer in classics. Are you ready?
No, but Bar, I've asked you so many classics questions. I should be, shouldn't I?
All right, we're going to give you your question anyway. Your first question in classics, your 1-pointer is Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis, and Marilyn Monroe star in what 1959 comedy?
God damn it. Maybe I should have taken it for 2.
5, 4, 3.
The 7-Year Itch.
That is
That is
incorrect. Sorry, yeah, Bar, go for it.
Yeah, that's incorrect. The correct answer was Some Like It Hot.
I knew it wasn't Roman Holiday. I knew that one. I knew that.
All right, your 2-point question in actors and actresses. Who plays team leader Mr. Blue in The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3? We're looking for the 70s version.
Five, 4, 3, 2.
Donald Sutherland.
That is incorrect. The correct answer is Robert Shaw.
God damn it. Fuck him and the Orca.
Okay.
And the entire country of England.
Yeah, and the entire country of England. Brexit means Brexit, guys.
All right.
So here is the situation.
Yes.
Jay does need to hit both of these questions in order to avoid the technical knockout. So, Bar, hit him with his 3 in sci-fi fantasy.
All right. Your 3-point question in sci-fi fantasy is Ian Holm portrays what historical figure in Time Bandits?
As soon as you said Ian, I thought you were going Malcolm.
4, 3, 2.
Repeat the question for me, please.
Okay, that is your first repeat. 3-point question in sci-fi fantasy. Ian Holm portrays what historical figure in Time Bandits?
God damn it. I'm so mad at myself. I should have taken a nap before this match. Good match, Robert. Fucking, I don't know, Napoleon.
And that is correct for 3 points.
Woo!
Holy shit.
That's what we like to see.
Okay, so we are at your 4-point question for comedy.
Can't wait for this to be a Thin Man question.
Don't get your hopes up. Your first,
Shit.
your 4-point question in comedy. How much does Johnny the Paperboy constantly harass Lane for in Better Off Dead?
5, 4, 3, 2.
Run that one back, please.
Okay. Your 4-point question of comedy. How much does Johnny the Paperboy constantly harass Lane for in Better Off Dead?
It's gonna be some fucking wild number. Robert, you know what? Like I said, last question, I fucking
5,
pulled the number out. My 12 cents.
3. And your winner by way of technical knockout, Robert Castner. We were looking for $2. $2 is the correct answer. So we will go to our post-match interviews, starting with our unfortunate second place finisher, Jay. I'm bringing his manager. Jay, I think just the questions you got in round 3 especially weren't the ones you were hoping for. You had a great pull on your 3-point question. I think most of us, including yourself, seemed to think it was over at that point, but you kept it alive at least a little longer. Thoughts on the match? Thoughts on how you played?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough match for Jay. Robert getting his spin on the wheel, exactly what he wanted. Like he said, it's what he's been watching for the last 2 weeks. So, kind of expected what ended up happening there as far as him getting 9 out of 10 points, I think it was. And then the round 3 categories, yeah, they just weren't really in Jay's favor. I think you had a decent 3 and 4 there, but it was hard to kind of figure out what to put at the 1 and the 2. And obviously those ended up being a little difficult. But you'll be back again. Just the bad luck seems to be cursing you thus far. But congratulations to Robert on a well played match.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we will see you back. You're only just below 500 still. Is there anyone you would like to face in your next match?
Somebody who doesn't get their own fucking spinner's choice every time I play them, because that's what seems to happen every time I play somebody here. It seems like even if I get mine and I do decent, like everybody gets theirs and they sweep. Like that's the thing that sucks. And like that's nothing against anybody else. It's just, hey, I study a different way than everybody else studies, but like I don't care. I just want to play. Good on Robert. I'm a little irritated myself. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, all right. I'm sure we will see you in the future, but for now, we will say goodbye. We will bring in tonight's winner, Robert Castner. Robert, I'm sure it's, as you said at the beginning, you just want to be at 500 again so that you can keep going somewhere instead of falling further into the pit. And you have achieved that. What's next, but you have no control over that. It's the people that work for Melee that do. And me and Bar aren't the people who have that control. We don't know.
We have so much control.
I believe it. You guys look like you're both firmly in control. Jake has been unfortunately disenfranchised for this whole match because he barely got to speak.
Fine.
So you go ahead, buddy.
I've been.
So Robert, more questions for you.
It's okay. I've been a little more active over on the fandom side, so it's nice to come back here to the realm I'm typically been more comfortable. But I'm, even with that in mind, I still can't really avoid it with you because you kicked ass in round 2, and I guess, it ultimately came down to you doing better in your strength than Jay's, and then just him getting stuff not in his wheelhouse in round 3, and it's just unfortunate that because we both like Jay a lot. Jay's been nothing but good to us
Always
in our time in this game, and it's bittersweet when you gotta take down a buddy. But I'm happy to see you back in the win column, and that for one, with how last year went for you in RIP Warzone, with just the amount of bad luck you had there.
My God.
A little regression to the mean, I think, was inevitable.
Yes.
So in that respect, I think that hopefully that continues, because I think you're still a pretty decent melee player. So I'm excited, and like for you also, I know this is kind of where you come to have fun.
Yeah.
So I want you to keep doing that because having a kid I'm sure is fun, but also like you need all the break.
It's fun. It's also stressful. Jay was great in this match. I mean that round 1 was brutal for both of us. There was a couple I left on the board. I wish I hadn't. Usually in these matches, especially last year, people were getting their strengths and I was not. So it was nice that we both got ours. And yeah, it's just that was something I was going for. I should have went 10 for 10. I'm stupid. I should have just pulled for that. I was worried that extra point was going to cost me. Fortunately, it didn't. It's just nice to be 500 again. I mentioned it last time, but like I lost to a dude who ended up being champion, a dude who played with this guy for a championship. The guy, is this after? Can I talk about results of things that have happened? I don't know.
I don't know what things you're talking about.
Last one standing?
That has happened.
Oh, okay. So I played the guy who won last one standing, and then I played freaking Redshaw. Like those are my losses. So I just wanted to get a chance to kind of improve. Fortunately, when you're a lower record, you play people with lower records, and I think luck happens, and then it just sort of amalgamates to something that's a little bit better. So that's what's happened, and I'm very happy.
Absolutely. Well, I am sure we'll be seeing you again now that you're on 500 and the quest to a positive record. But we'll have to wait to see what happens. But
you
for
win
now,
one, and then you win another. That's called a winning streak.
This is sports. That's how. Yep. We'll say goodbye to Robert. We will say goodbye to Jake. Bar, final thoughts on the match we just saw.
To continue on the sports trend, they are who they thought we thought they were. But this was actually a really good match. I don't think that the overall points, if people look at the end, it won't be like clear. But it was actually a very good match. Pretty much back and forth throughout. Jay just hit like a couple of questions that just weren't the kind of questions that he needed at the end. So maybe changing it to multiplex movie melee is the one bit of luck that Robert needed.
Absolutely. Well, with that being said, I think we will say goodbye. So on behalf of Andrew Barr, Jay Burnz, Scott Harvey, Robert Castner, and Jake Meltzer, I have been Cameron Holzman. This has been Multiplex Movie Melee. It really helps that it's written up there in the corner. Thank you all for watching. Have a great whatever time of day it is you are watching this match. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Later.
After you, Junior. We'll always have Paris.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
Think it'll work?
Goodbye.